Hey guys, we're going to learn some basic aerials today, as well as go over some of the tips and subtleties and some information about them. We're going to start with the basic aerial for people who have not learned them already. I'm going to teach you that. We're going to teach it to you from holding on to the safe handle from this position here. Now, I would never do a aerial by itself. As a single move. I would add it to the end of a move or the end of a combo. But if you haven't learned your aerials already, you want to start it out with a single move and then work it into your moves and combos once you get it down. Now, that being said, doing it from the end of a move or a combo, I find that 90% of the time when you end a move, you're going to be holding on to the safe handle. So that's why I'm going to teach it to you from the safe handle position. You're going to have your three fingers kind of lightly towards the end of the safe handle here. Your index finger and your thumb are basically the ones doing all the work. I like to have my index finger separated a little bit from the other three fingers and kind of pointed out a little bit as it acts as kind of a guide while you're throwing to keep the knife straight and eliminate any wobble in there. Now you're going to dip down, and just like you're going to bring the bite handle up, as you initiate the toss and that bite handle comes around, you're going to let go, let it complete a single flip. You're going to catch the safe handle, bite handle, momentum will carry this bite handle around, and then you go into your grip. Like I said, it's straightforward, it's a simple concept. Some tips on it. Aerials especially are not an exact science. You're going to have to experiment on your own, find out how much force and pressure you need to apply to get your knife to do a single flip or 1.5 rotations or multiple flips. But once you experiment with that and practice that and get that down, you'll get the flip pretty much every time. But like I said, it's a feeling. And you got to experiment and find what your feeling is to find the exact amount of pressure needed. That being said, let's go into some other tips. The catch here. Once that comes around, it's important to kind of absorb the impact here. Meaning that as that comes around, once it gets in your hand, kind of lower your hand a little bit and absorb that impact. Especially with multiple spins. If you leave your hand just sitting there straight and rigid like that, and that impact after a while, it's going to hurt your knuckles and your hands. So absorb the impact, and it also looks better. It adds with your style to absorb it. Another point, I see a lot of people doing it, I do it all the time too, is as that comes around, what you want to do is kind of cup your hand. You don't want to, once that handle comes around, you don't want to try to grip it straight from the get-go. You want to kind of cup your hand, absorb the impact, and allow that extra second of time for momentum to carry that handle around before you go into your grip. Now it's a natural instinct. Once that comes around and you go to catch that handle, it's natural instinct to kind of grip onto it and wrap your fingers around it. What happens is you can't get your fingers out fast enough and they get stuck in there. Now most of the time you can pull them out if it gets stuck and it doesn't really disrupt the flow or anything. But if you want a really solid catch, you want to allow that extra second of time. Just cup your hand and catch it like that, just on the base of your fingers there, and allow that second of time to bring the handle in before you go to wrap your fingers around it. What else can be said? Why it can be done from bite handle or safe handle. Why you would pick that is which way you want your blade facing when you're finished. Now if you start from the safe handle, what you notice is once you do your single flip, when you catch, the edge of your blade is facing upwards or towards you. If you're to do the same move from the bite handle, you'll end in a more convenient position here with the edge of your blade facing downwards. So that might be another thing you want to think about. If the ending position, the way the blade is facing, is important to you, if you want it down or you want it up, then start the move from the handle accordingly. Safe handle will end with your blade facing up. Bite handle will end with your blade facing down. And that's pretty much all that can be said about your basic aerial. Like I said, it can be done with multiple spins as well. Okay, another thing about the basic aerial is that you can go into a closed position as well. Can be done from either side, safe handle or bite handle, depending on what move you're going to do next when you land in your closed position. If you want your bite handle on the left or the right. If you do have the tendency to wrap your fingers around your handle, as I stated earlier, I would advise learning this from the bite handle side. That way when you do your throw, and it's a little bit more pressure because you're doing a 1.5 rotation on this. So as that comes down for your first rotation, you're going to let that handle pass by. And you're going to catch the second one. In this case, it will be the safe handle. That way, if you do have your fingers wrapped around and you can't get them out in time, it'll be the spine of the blade that catches you instead of the edge of the blade if you were to start from the safe handle. Like I said, that's experimentation as well. It's a 1.5 rotation, so a little bit more force. If you want to do a single rotation to close, you would instead of using the outside edge of your handles, you would use the inside edge of your handles, and that way you could go into a single flip and catch in the closed position. Some other points of interest. Let's go into the ice pick grip. Do your basic aerial, leave your hand in kind of a C position and catch right there, and it'll automatically just fall right into position like that. I find it easier than the basic aerial opening, and it looks harder to people, even though it's an easier move in my opinion. So just toss it up. Once the safe handle comes around, let it fall right into it. It's a softer throw as well because you're catching the handle up here and momentum doesn't have to go as far from here to here as opposed to here to here. Some other points is you don't see a lot of people doing aerials from open unlocked positions. I'd like to see more of that going on. Also, I'd like to see aerials being thrown in the middle of combos as opposed to the ending of a combo or routine. And I would also like to see them being in the middle of a combo, doing your catch, and then going immediately into your next move for the routine, as opposed to most people ending their combos or routines. They sit there for 30 seconds holding the knife like that, letting it sink in. If you're going to do it in the middle of a combo, catch it, move immediately into your next moves for the routine. Don't sit there and pause before you go into something else. And probably the biggest tip I can give you about aerials is to keep it in control. Remember, you're the one in control, not the other way around. A lot of people do aerials and they have to jump over here, jump over there. The knife goes 2 feet over to the right. They have to lunge out over there to catch it. It just doesn't look good. And even with technically advanced aerials, keep it in control. Once you land it, catch it, and get a nice solid catch. Don't go jumping around or running all over the room to try and catch it. And that's basically all that can be said about aerials. Hope you enjoyed this.